Hello, everyone. It's Sunday once again. Oh my god, I'm so nervous about today's episode of Master Drummer. It's now 2 o'clock here in the UK, 10 p.m. in Manila, and 4 p.m. in Harare. So, yeah, I just want. I really don't know what to say because today's guest is a legend. And I was all like thinking earlier, what am I going to say? How am I going to talk to a legend? And also, I haven't done this before in any of the episodes, but I just wanted to do a shout out to all these amazing drummers as well who are really keen on seeing today's guest, especially Ross Sinclair of the Soup Dragons, Rob Jones, Spence Roberts, and Doug McLeod. Hello to everyone, and they were really excited about today's episode. But anyways, I'm gonna bring him on screen now. My dear friends, please welcome the one and only Zeke Manyika.
Thank you so much,
Hello,
Annie. Thank you for the lovely
hello, Zeke.
introduction. Hi guys, how are you, Anne? How are you
I'm
doing?
all right, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Uh, yeah, and you're okay. What's the weather like where you are this
It was a little bit sunny, but it's getting a bit chilly now. But hey, we live in England.
Yeah, that is true. 'Cause- Yeah, because we're supposed to, we scheduled it a month ago, but
That's
something
right.
happened, so we weren't
Yeah,
able.
I'm sorry about that, but
No, that's fine. I'm just really glad that
yeah,
you're able to sort of like give us another date for Ask
abs-
the Drummer, and all the drummers that I've mentioned earlier, they're really so like excited about you guesting on Ask the Drummer as well. So
no,
I
that's
just
sweet.
thought, and a friend of mine from the Philippines, Gilbert, he messaged me as well to say that he's gonna stay up so watch you.
Oh, oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Hope you
um,
can
yeah,
disappoint
well,
him. Mm.
no, well, the last time, because a month ago I went to Glasgow to see Hungry Beats,
Right.
and I thought about you
Hmm.
because I saw Malcolm Ross,
Hmm.
and they played "Rip It Up," and
Oh,
I kept thinking the number of times I've seen that video
oh yeah.
of "Rip It Up" is just amazing.
Okay.
So, I've asked you this earlier, but do you still see the band? Do you still see like Malcolm Ross
Oh
and
no, I haven't
everybody?
seen. No, I would really love to see Malcolm and David. David moved to Australia for a while, so we lost touch. But I actually stayed with Malcolm and his wife Susan for a while in London, and then we
Yeah,
just lost touch because I went away to Zimbabwe and then I started touring around the world, and we just lost touch. But I'm
yeah,
sure we're going to see each other again because I love Malcolm. I love all the band. I saw Edwin about a year and a half ago at his one of his gigs, and
yeah.
that was really lovely to see him. And
He's doing
I'm in
well
touch.
now.
Sorry,
Yeah,
darling.
he's doing well now. I
He's
think
doing
because I
really
saw.
no,
Yeah,
he's doing remarkably well, and
yeah,
it was lovely to see him back on stage. And he had the same sense of humor as usual, and yeah, no, that was lovely. And I'm in touch with him and Grace because we still belong to the same company, Orange Juice Company,
yeah.
so we talk every now and again. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Mm.
I love your name, Zeke Manika. I'm
Yeah.
so like,
Thank you.
oh my god, Zeke. Manika in our language, because I'm originally from the Philippines,
Okay.
and Manika in our language is doll, like
Oh,
like
really?
Barbie doll. It's a this
I'm going to tell my family that.
yeah.
Next time calling my friend, hey, Joe.
Does it mean anything at all? Or
Hey,
so,
you know what? It's really interesting because I tried to find out what it actually means, and I still haven't found out because there is actually a section of the tribe of people called the Manyikas in Zimbabwe, but they've got nothing to do with us. We actually belong to another tribe called the Zezurus. So,
oh,
so it's very complicated. I don't know where Manyika
yeah,
it's very strange because Nika means the earth, the world.
yeah.
So Manyika in literally it might mean many worlds, or I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it's
All
difficult.
right.
Yeah.
Well, at least now you can tell them it actually means something in the
Yeah, I did
Philippines. It
something
means
in
that
Philippines.
you're a doll.
Yeah, you're a doll. You have to go to the Philippines to to find out what my name meant.
Well, I just want to say hello to Neil Barker. Neil is my colleague at King B Records in Manchester. He said hi Anna and hi
Oh,
Zeke.
oh,
And
hi Neil.
Spence, yeah, and Spence Roberts, he's also a drummer. He said, "Hi Zeke, wonderful drummer. Met you in the '80s. You were
Oh
always
wow.
lovely."
Oh, thank
And
you.
yeah, and also he said that also loved your solo album.
Oh,
So
thank you so much. Yeah, that means a lot.
but yeah, so anyway, welcome to Ask the Drummer.
Yeah.
Episode 72 is all about you, Zeke
Okay.
Manyika.
Thank you.
Can you tell us where were you born? And you mentioned so like Zimbabwe or Rhodesia at the time.
It was
And
just your
what was
southern.
your childhood like in
Yeah, I
Rhodesia?
was born in Rhodesia to a couple of teachers, and I went to school there, and then the war started, and my parents thought I should get out before I go into trouble. So a friend of ours, a Scottish friend of ours called Irene Mackay, arranged for me to go to Glasgow to do my A levels there. They call them higher levels in Scotland.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I went there in 1974, and I did my higher levels. And then I went to Glasgow College of Technology to do social sciences, which is now called Caledonia University. And then that's
oh,
when I dropped out to start playing. I started a band, and
yeah.
yeah, then I started doing music. Yeah, yeah.
How old were you then when you left
I left when
Rhodesia?
I was just turned 18.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you actually spent most of your childhood and adult, well, young adult or teenage years in Rhodesia. Um,
Well, all my youth, all my youth, yeah, up to 18, I was in
yeah,
Rhodesia, and then I became a man in Glasgow.
you big. That's right.
Glasgow
But
shaped me into a man.
yeah, well, you mentioned that because I remember at the time when I was a kid, when we do so when we used to sort of like have social sciences or
Yeah.
social studies, I remember sort of like hearing a lot about Rhodesia
Uh-huh.
in news, like newspaper and stuff.
Yes.
So, what was it like for you? Did you go? Was it so like music wise? Was there sort of like music like gigs that you can go to, or maybe like
Yeah, no,
places you can hang
no, it
out?
was, it was, it's a very difficult scene to describe because, yeah, music is very important to a lot of African people, as you know.
Yeah,
So there
yeah,
was always a lot of traditional music. Most of our music, because it was a colonial British colony. Um, a lot of our music either came from pop radio. So we listen basically to the same things people in UK. Maybe we heard it a few months afterwards. So
yeah,
our background music was basically rock and roll, the Beatles, Rolling Stones, and of course the American soul music.
yeah, yeah,
But the predominant music scene was South African, and black music was from South Africa or from the Congo.
yeah,
That's what black people they tended to listen to. So the music scene was kind of very strange. It was all over the place, and it wasn't very easy to go to bands to see bands because of the political situation there was very very heavy, and yeah, it wasn't a normal situation to grow
yeah.
up. Yeah.
But were you already into music at the time? Were you already sort of like part of a band or a group,
No, it's
musical?
something that I was always very. I knew that I had it in me. I knew I wanted to play drums before I even held any drumsticks.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just felt that when I was a kid, and my parents, my whole family were into music. My parents, although they were teachers, and my uncles, they were choir masters, and there were a lot of singers in my family. Uh,
yeah,
but we were very much discouraged to follow that route because it wasn't a very lucrative career.
Oh, I see.
And
Yes.
that's it. Yeah. So my parents wouldn't allow guitars in the house and all that sort of thing because we had to study. We had to study, because education was for most black people, education was the way out of the situation that we were in. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It,
So
I think it's the same with the Filipinos as well. I mean,
I think
in
it's
the Philippines, you've got to make sure that you study and get your degrees and stuff.
absolute. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's like that in a lot of cultures around the world. But
Yeah.
so I suppose um, going to Glasgow, or when I felt a bit freer to pursue it because my parents were not there. That's when that's where I walked into a shop called McCormick's and just saw this drum kit in the window I used to see when I was on my way to college and thought I'm gonna have it, and went
All
in and
right.
yeah, and went in and bought it, and started a band with some of my college mates, and they were all dropped out of their courses, and it was just me left still doing my course, and they were going, "Hang on, you started a band, so why are you still doing your course?" Why don't we? And yeah, so that was the
Oh,
beginning
wow.
of it all, really. Yeah.
Well, I just want to say that Aiden said that it's very good sound and picture. Aiden is actually my tech support, and he's my
Okay.
husband as well. So yeah, he said it's really good when he says that it's very good sound and picture.
Oh,
But
thank you.
so going back, so moving from Zimbabwe to Glasgow, did you have a say to as like why Glasgow, or did you sort of like were you okay that you're going to Glasgow, or did you want to go anywhere else?
No, no. The funny thing is, my because my parents' friend, this lady called Irene Mackay, it was a suggestion, and
Oh,
yeah, because she came from just outside of Glasgow,
yeah.
and I think my parents just thought that's the safest thing to do, to go somewhere where someone we knew. And no, I never had any regrets. I loved Glasgow. Glasgow was so welcoming. It was absolutely the best place I could have gone to. Uh,
Yeah.
it was absolutely lovely. I'll tell you a funny story about the first day I got to Glasgow, which just illustrates this point. I go off at the airport, Glasgow airport, and I had to, it's on the 16th of August, 1974, and I had to go and register at Langside College, which is in the south side of Glasgow, the same day I arrived. But I didn't realize how far that was from the airport. So I got into a taxi with all my luggage. I said, take me to Southside, Langside College. He drove me over there, and I was watching the money on the meter.
Yeah.
Oh my God, will I have enough money? By the time I get there, all my money is going to be gone. And anyway, we arrived there, and it was a lot of money. We arrived at the south side, and the guy came out of the taxi driver helped me with my luggage out, and I was shaking, counting my money out my wallet. And he says, "Nah, nah, nah, don't worry, son. Welcome to Glasgow." And he wouldn't take
Oh,
any money. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh wow, that's
That was my first day.
amazing.
That was my first day in Glasgow.
Oh
So
my God, yeah.
very well, because he said I was on my way home anyway. Welcome to Glasgow. And
Oh, that's incredible. I don't think many people would do that nowadays. Or maybe they
absolutely.
will still do. I'm sure they will still
Yeah.
do that.
No,
But
Glasgow, but that's very illustrative of what Glasgow was like. Glasgow was
yeah,
it was very warm, and I loved it.
yeah. And like you said, they're welcoming, and I
Mm.
love Glasgow. I like going back there and
Yeah, it's a great place.
over and over for gigs and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
Yeah. So did you stay with your parents with Irene Mackay, or
No,
did
no,
you
no.
stay with her, or
No,
you?
no. She was still living in Zimbabwe, in Rhodesia, as it was. I
Oh,
I had an uncle, my mom's cousin, who was doing a doctorate at Glasgow University,
yeah,
and he had a flat in Bias Road, and I stayed with him just for couple of months or so while I looked for my own flat, because I really wanted to get into my own flat. I was really excited about the independence. Uh,
yeah. That's right. And being you were only, you said you were only 18 years old at the time.
yeah,
That's like you know.
and when you've grown up with a family who are teachers, and they are also your teachers and your headmaster, you you really look forward to that. Oh, freedom! Please.
That's right.
Give-
Yeah,
Yeah, give me
freedom.
my own space. Do
So,
I like?
you how soon was it since until you bought this drum kit that you saw in the shop window on your way to college?
Yeah, so I was a very good boy for the first year when I did my higher levels at Langside College. I just concentrated on that, passed my exams. I was a good boy for the first year uh, going to Glasgow College of Tech. But that's when every day I had to walk past this music shop called McCormick's in central Glasgow on my way to. And that's in the second year, that's when I decided I really need to get this drum kit. So I bought the drum kit. I really couldn't play it, I mean, I couldn't play drums technically, but I
Yeah,
just knew I had a feel for them. Uh, I just knew that this was my instrument. And
yeah, yeah.
so basically, I went in there, talked to the man who owned it, Mr. Mackay, and what's called higher purchase, where my student grant I would pay every month a certain amount of money, and bought this drum kit and put it in
Pardon
the
me.
hallway of our student flat, and just started to learn how to play drums properly.
All right. So
Yeah,
you actually took it to your room and to your flat, the
yeah.
drum kit, and then what were the people so like living in the same area? Were they
Well,
happy that you so like?
actually, it was very interesting because there was a Zimbabwean guy and a Scottish guy, and both of them wanted to start a band as well. So we started a band
Oh,
together.
right.
So
Okay.
one was playing bass, the other was playing guitar, and we
Yeah.
really didn't know what we were doing, but we loved the process. Yeah, yeah.
But how soon? So you had your own band,
Yes.
but then you weren't really so like. So did you have proper drumming lessons, or did you just teach yourself?
No, mostly taught myself by observing other people, listening to other people, but just really basically every day I played drums. Every day I would play drums. And then we found a basement around the corner from our flat from this old lady, Jamaican lady, who said we could rent it out from her. And we put our equipment in there. And every day after uni or whatever, we would go there in the evening instead of going to the pub or whatever. That's where we went. We would
You
get,
practiced.
yeah, we'll get a few cans of lager and go in there and just play. Yeah.
Did you manage to sort of, like get gigs, or did you just
Well, slowly, we got more and more confident, and we got some gigs. We started playing pubs in Glasgow, and then we got quite popular. We started playing further and further away from Glasgow, places like Greenock and Edinburgh and Stirling and what have you. And yeah, it just got better and better,
yeah?
and yeah, that's it was interesting.
So when did you meet the guys from Orange Juice?
Well,
Or
that
because you're not the original drummer of Orange
Yeah,
Juice,
because no, when Orange just first started, they had two guys, Stephen Daly and James. What's his name?
James Kirk.
Yeah, yeah, James Kirk.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah, yeah.
James. Yeah, and m- I was staying. One of my best friends, I shared a flat with, was the social secretary at Glasgow College of Technology. So he used to put on bands there, and he played me a tape of Orange Juice when they were just beginning, when the whole postcard thing was just starting. It was rough, because they were very young and they were just starting.
Yeah.
And one day I bumped into Edwin, and he asked me. I didn't know him. He asked me if they could rehearse at my basement, the basement I was telling you about.
All right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so I got them to rehearse in there, and just forgot about it. And it was 2, 3 years later. I was actually in London
Yeah.
when I got a phone call from my friend Paddy saying Edwin is they look Oranges are looking for a drummer. I said, "What happened to Steve?" Oh, they've broken up. So you should come back to Glasgow, and I went back to Glasgow, and that was it. Yeah,
All right. So
yeah.
you must be sort of like getting attention from them because they found out about your practice. So
Yeah,
like
yes,
so
because our band was becoming quite, we were quite well known in the local scene.
yeah.
Yeah,
What's it called? What was the band
it's a
called?
band called Gyro, but we changed our name from Gyro to Route 2. So we were just playing in the local, in local pubs. And also because we were one of the few bands who wrote their own material. A lot of bands in Glasgow then were just cover bands. So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so that was, yeah. And when we were rehearsing, quite a few times when we were rehearsing in the basement, we could see a few people standing outside listening at night, and apparently Edwin used to listen to us when we were rehearsing downstairs as
Oh
well.
wow.
So he knew, he sort of had an idea of what I was doing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So so you were in London and then you went back to Glasgow
I went back
to
to
did
Glasgow
you
for a meeting with them,
yeah.
and we discussed what we're doing, and we were just signing to Polydor Records then, and
Ah.
we said that yeah, that's it. So I joined basically, and we rehearsed for about a week and a half, and straight away we went on tour. Yeah.
But what happened to Gyro then? Or
Oh,
when
Gyro had finished by then. Gyro,
oh Gyro finished by then.
yeah,
When
by
you
then
went to London.
we'd all gone our separate ways, and
Oh right,
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
So did you audition for Orange Juice or did you just say
Well, it
you're the
wasn't really,
drummer?
yeah, it wasn't really so much an audition as trying things out. It was like, let's see if it works, and they played me their songs. We played them, and they said, yeah, that's great. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Malcolm Ross, I also found out that he's not one of the original
No,
members
because yeah, Malcolm
either.
was in the other postcard band. He was in Fire Engines.
And the yeah, Joseph K. Was it
No,
Joseph
sorry,
K?
no, no, yeah, Joseph K. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Joseph K. Because
Joseph K.
when I went to Hungry Beat, I've got so like I want to make sure that I separate the two Orange Juice records that I've got. That one is for James Cook to sign, and the
Okay.
other for so like Malcolm Ross to sign. Because I didn't want them to say, "Can you sign this?" It's like I didn't play it no more.
That's quite funny. Yeah. Yeah, it's quite funny because when I went on that first tour with Orange Juice, that's when You Can't Hide Your Love Forever was out. And
Yeah.
I didn't play on You Can't Love, but people were coming up with You Can't Hide Your Love. And I would say, are you sure you want me to sign on this? I'm not on but you signed anyway. It doesn't matter. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So so with Orange Juice, you became like you were with them until they actually disbanded,
Oh, yeah.
until
Yeah, Edwin,
yeah,
it ended up just being Edwin and myself.
yeah, yeah,
And when we were touring, we would hire different people. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Because Rip It Up, that's massive all over the world.
yeah. That was great. Yeah.
Yeah, even I mean in the Philippines, that was really big as well.
Oh,
like,
that's good.
I
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, I mentioned to you before that I just like I love that video that you did, and it was so like going. Is that Glasgow that you was it? So like
No, oh,
Glasgow?
the video. Oh, that video is hilarious. You know what
Yeah.
happened? That video that was done in London, actually.
Oh, London. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, it was like all of it, all that footage is accidental because what we were trying to do, we were trying to get a video without our faces in it. We wanted to film people's reactions to us. So that's why we were wearing, it was really raining, it was wintry, it was blowing wind, and we were wearing Bermuda summer shirts. And
yeah,
what we were trying to do was the cameras would be focusing on people looking at us thinking, are these people mad? This is winter. Why are they wearing Bermuda shirts and stuff? But no one in London reacts to anything because everybody thinks everybody's crazy anyway. So we couldn't get any footage of any surprised faces. So that's why we went with the. We tried to go. We went into that Chinese gentleman's shop wearing
yeah,
all what do you call them? The diving gear.
yeah. That's right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and we wanted to get the reaction of the guy behind the counter's face to us walking in with snorkels and everything. So we walk in like it's really difficult to do with snorkels in store into the shop. and the guy just says, "What can I help you with?" And you don't get any reaction. So,
As if, yeah,
so
as if
all,
you were just wearing normal clothes or
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. So the video, so we end up with a video of just us doing stupid things. So yeah,
Well,
it's quite funny.
while you're in orange juice, now this is really because I didn't know about this
Yeah.
until until I know that you're coming on the show. That I have to sort of like do a bit of research and googling. So while you're in orange juice, you also played drums in the Does,
Yes.
this one, Soul
Yeah. Yeah.
Mining,
Coal mining. Yeah.
and now that this album actually one of the songs here, This Is the Day. I know that you didn't drum on This Is the Day.
No, not on that
That
one. No.
that's actually massive in the Philippines.
Oh, it's massive
Everybody felt
everywhere.
like, oh yeah, it's a really really good record, and because being from the Philippines, we don't really get to hear about like how you pronounce the name properly.
Oh yeah.
So now we know that it's the, but then you just
The-
rely on
yeah.
you just rely on the DJs to actually tell you what it is. So we didn't know what it's, always have this thing, is it the D
Yeah, did
or
he?
the D or
Yeah.
something?
I'm gonna tell Matt that one. Hey, did he? Yeah.
But I just want to say that Nick, a friend of mine, Nick Kopsha, he's really excited about you guesting as well because he
Oh,
loves
thank you.
this. He loves your drumming here in soul mining.
Yeah, thank
And I've got a sort of like technical question from a drummer,
you.
Doug
Uh-oh.
McLeod. He he's well, his question for you is what kit uh were you using on soul mining? He's interested to know if it's a
No,
Simmons kit.
oh, I see. No, no, no. Yeah, I see. No, on all the on all the records I played on, whether it's Paul Weller, the Style Council, which I did the first Style Council singles, and the and Orange Juice. It's a small, it's a jazz, it's a beautiful little small jazz Gretsch drum kit. It was really, really good. It's very small, but it's really well made. But the Simmons effects that he hears, I think, on the soul mining thing, that's actually triggered from the drums. It's not the actual drum kit that was a Simmons. Do you see what I'm saying? It was an
Oh,
effect that was triggered from the patterns that are played on the jazz. I don't know if that
all
makes sense.
right.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Mhm.
okay. I'm sure the drummers would know what it is because,
I
like
think
I
they do.
mentioned,
Yeah, yeah.
like I mentioned to you.
Technology's moved on a lot now. It's difficult
Yeah.
to describe it. Those days, if you wanted a different sound from what the source sound was, what you did is you recorded the initial signal, and then that would trigger the sounds on the computer on the machine. Do you see what I mean? I don't know if that's
Okay.
clear. Yeah. So you
So
could.
it's not the Simmons
It's not the
kit
actual
that you
Simmons
actually.
itself. I know I didn't play the Simmons. I couldn't really play the electronic kits then because at the time they're different now. They're actually much more advanced now because they didn't really have much touch sensitivity. They were not very, very good for sensitivity. So you hit it and it was just like hitting a concrete floor. So it was very, you had to really get used to playing them. So
All right.
yeah.
Well, that's good. Well, that answered this question. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but he's also got another question for you. He said, "What's it like working with Matt Johnson?"
Ah, it's a hoot. He's one of my he's probably one of my best friends. So it's just great fun. Yeah, he's very naughty. That's one thing for sure. He's always winding you up.
All right.
Yeah, he's got kind of crazy energy. He can't sit still. So yeah, but it's a great pleasure. He's one of my best friends. So yeah, we know each other really well. So that was a great, yeah, it's great fun working with Matt.
Do you so like still? Because I know that before, I think it was before COVID, that
Uh-huh.
he did several like shows. I think.
Yeah, he did shows. No, it was just at
Was
the
it just
tail end of COVID last year. Yeah, I went on stage with him. in London for one of his shows. Yeah, he did. He did a world tour actually, and then
Right?
yeah, and then in London he played. He did at Royal Albert Hall,
Yeah, yeah.
and then another venue in Warthog. No, what is it called again? In London, I can't even remember. Yeah, but anyway, it was the end of a world tour, and
Oh, right.
yeah, he had done quite a lot of gigs, and they made a film with that. The director Tim Pop made a film. You should check it out of the Royal Albert Hall gig. It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you're playing. You played drums on that one,
No,
the
I didn't.
Royal.
No, I didn't. I didn't go on that tour. I didn't go.
Oh,
I
not
didn't go
that
on
one.
tour with
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
Yeah, I just did a guest appearance, doing some
yeah.
backing vocals with him at one of the gigs. Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Well, this one here, Giant, which is the last track on this
yeah,
album,
yeah,
it's like epic. It's nearly 10 minutes of sort of
yeah.
like just
Yeah.
awesomeness. It was just
That was
because
great to do.
yeah, and there was chanting there as well and stuff. So what was it your idea or what was
Yeah, it
the
was. Yeah, it was. But basically, it was both our ideas. Matt and myself came up with that. We did the drumming and stuff like that, and then we started writing the chanting together and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And you mentioned style council there because I think it was around this time. So you're in Orange Juice, you're doing and
Uh-huh.
then you also did the style council's first three
Yeah,
singles.
the very first Style Council singles. Yeah.
So now my question, what was it like? What's it like playing with Paul Weller? I mean, another legend. I mean, Paul Weller.
Yeah, yeah, another lovely boy.
What's
I'm,
he
I'm just,
like?
yeah,
What's he?
he's beautiful. Yeah, just another wonderful human being. Because Paul, the Jam, the Jam were signed to Polydor Records, and Orange Juice were signed to Polydor Records as well. So I used to bump into Paul at Polydor Records. When he split up the Jam, he he had the Orange Juice song. I don't know if you know. I Can't Help Myself, which was
Yeah, yeah,
which was the single before Rip It Up,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and he really liked the drumming on that. So he called me and said, "Look, I'm starting a new band called the Star Council. It's just me and a guy called Mick Talbot. I don't have a full band yet, but I've got the first recording, first singles ready. Would you like to play?" And I said, "Yeah, of course I would." And yeah, so I went and played on "Speak Like a Child,"
yeah, yeah.
solid bond in your heart,
And
uh,
money go round.
money go round. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, before I continue asking about Paul Weller,
Uh-huh.
I just noticed that all these messages. Jenny Stevenson said that she went to Roxy. She
Okay.
must have seen you there at Roxy.
Yeah.
And Mike Edmondson said, "Hi Zeke, you've been a hero of mine since the Star Council,
Oh,
and of course Orange Juice."
oh, thank you.
Um, I think he saw like he must have joined us later because he asked, "How did you join Orange Juice?" Which you've
Oh, okay.
already answered earlier. So
Oh, okay.
I think
Okay.
Mike you just had to sort of like watch the YouTube, so like
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
the replay of it.
Yeah. Sure.
So,
Yeah.
but Spence Roberts said, "What's your favorite Orange Juice songs, and
Oh
what
my.
did you enjoy playing in most?"
Oh my God. That's. Oh, that's a tough one. I think probably it's two songs. It's a song called "What Presents," and it's also a song which also one of the other songs called "Hawk Oil," which I co-wrote with Edwin and the rest of the band. But they are my two favorite songs to play. I think.
Rip it up.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, well, this is what I'm saying. It's so difficult, isn't it? I all repeats up a lot of, but yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, there's loads of them. But if I had to, if you put a gun to my head, I had to pick two songs. My favorite.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one, isn't
Well, Jenny said so. She also saw you at Brixton Academy. The played as well. She said that it's amazing. And Spence Roberts said, "I can't help myself" should have been a hit,
it?
which I agree. I actually
Yeah,
posted that
it
video
was a minor hit. It went to, I think it went to number 42 or something. And
in the
then,
charts. Yeah,
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 because normally what used to happen was that if a song goes into the top, if it goes to 39 on top 40, you get top of the pops. And when you go top of the pops, then it just flies to the top. But if it just misses top of the pops, then, uh, you know,
yeah.
it did. Yeah. So it was
Well,
unfortunate, but
the video that I posted of I Can't Help Myself, we did what's the other one? Not Top of the Pops. The Old Grey Whistle Test.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you did that on there. That's the one that I posted on
Yeah,
the
no,
Facebook
yes,
page.
we did.
So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but going back to Paul Weller,
Yeah.
because there's always sort of like this thing about the Jam versus the Style Council, and
Oh, yeah.
especially like when Tears for Fears sang about kick out the style, bring back the Jam and
Oh,
things.
God. Yeah.
What what's your take on that one? How would you
Yeah,
feel?
it's a silly argument. It's a silly argument. It's a silly debate because basically Paul is a really, really all-round musician. He's very, very talented, and the problem with with the Jam is that it put him in a straight jacket. He just had to, and because his fans just wanted him to be this spokesman for a particular uh, kind of what do you call
Generation? So like,
sensibility, if you like. But
yeah,
Paul grew up listening to all sorts of music. He grew up listening to um, soul music, blues music, rock music, and he's very,
yeah,
very he's got a very eclectic and the style council really gave him the freedom to express himself in that and his solo career, his
yeah, yeah.
dates. So and the Jam had done it's done its job. I mean, he'd done the Jam. He had done a few albums, and they were brilliant. And it's you can't. It's comparing oranges and apples. Really, you can't compare the two. They're both relevant. They're both relevant to
Yeah.
you know.
As, I suppose you can say it's like the softer side of him, because
Yeah, well, it's more it's. But even if you listen to the Jam, because when we were doing the solo, because years later I went on tour in the '90s. I went on tour with Paul, although I
yeah,
wasn't playing drums. I was playing. I was doing backing vocals and playing percussion and a bit of synthesizer. We were doing covers of the Jam. There were songs that we were doing. A town called Malice.
Franco Malice, yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah.
and oh God, I can't think of them.
Eaton rifles and things like
Yeah, yeah, we did a lot of
that.
cover versions of that. They are very, they fitted in very, very well with his new kind of softer side.
Yeah,
Because you
yeah,
listen to some of the Jam songs, they're very much influenced by Tamla Motown and something. They were a little bit rockier and harder the way the Jam did them. As a three-piece, you had to do that. As a three-piece, you can't really be too gentle because otherwise it just gets lost. You know, um,
right,
you have to fill the space, and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, so it's just one of those things. People prefer what they prefer, so it doesn't really
yeah.
matter.
That's true. I mean, I love both, but
Yeah, of course.
I
Yeah,
think
I
in
don't
the
see why.
Philippines,
Yeah, one has to be against the other. I just
yeah, yeah. I
it's
think
like,
for us, maybe it's like I don't know if it's maybe my Filipino friends would disagree with me, but maybe it's like the style council more so like a new wave kind of thing, and then the
hmm,
Jam probably more like the punk
the
as
punk
well.
thing.
Like,
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. But I
yeah,
mean, it would have been such a shame if he had just been stuck in that straight jacket and hadn't been able to express himself in lots of other ways,
yeah,
which
yeah.
he's proving to now. He's very prolific,
Yes, yeah,
and he needed that freedom, really.
yeah.
Mm.
Um, uh, I just wanted to sort of like ask you this. I don't know if you've seen his. It was from last year, I think, that he did an article with. There's an article about him in Record Collector magazine,
Uh-huh.
and he was talking about Robert Smith.
Yeah, I was shocked by that. I saw that. I had, yeah, I don't know if there's a history or something, but I was. I was really shocked by that. I don't know what.
So would you say that Paul Weller is not really that kind of person, or
Well, no, I mean, he can be cutting. Yeah, I mean, he's got that cutting thing, but he used to be like that more during his in the jam days.
yeah, yeah.
I don't. Yeah, that if even now I'm still wondering where that came from.
See, I know.
So I think maybe there's things been said which we don't which we're not part of.
Well,
Yeah, because
um,
that completely shocked me. Yeah, yeah. Uh, but
it
yeah,
did me as well. Yeah, it
yeah,
shocked me as well.
yeah. But
Stand up.
he can be a bit catching because I remember one day we were in Tokyo
Yeah.
and we did a gig. After the gig, we got invited. The next day, we had a day off, and playing at the same venue where what's her name? Oh God, Lisa. What's her name? Lisa from Stansfield.
Oh, Lisa Stansfield. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
From
yeah.
Rochdale.
She had a gig in the same venue, so she invited us, Paul Weller's band, to see her, and
Yeah,
we were all quite tired, but we went anyway because that's what you do when band from home. You know, you support each other and you go and see each other.
yeah, yeah.
So we went and we all sort of almost fell asleep during the gig because it was all very smooth and stuff. And at the end of the gig, we went backstage, and Paul had had a few too many to drink. And Lisa said, "What did you think of the gig?" I said, "I thought it was really boring."
Oh my god.
And Lisa can stand up for herself, and yeah,
Oh my god.
she's a northern girl, so she knows how to stand up for herself. So she said, "Oh, you're just a drunken this," and I said, "Well, yeah, we had to pull them apart. But come on, guys, let's go now." So he's got that in his locker, you know, when he's yeah,
Oh god.
yeah,
Well, anyway, so
yeah.
Spence Roberts, what was it like working with Dennis Bovell?
Oh,
Dennis
Dennis
Bovell?
Bovell, yeah, he's another nutcase. Yeah. a, a super talented nutcase. Yeah, because Dennis, Dennis is a he's a multi instrumentalist. He can do all sorts of things in the studio. He's a superb musician, but he's very eccentric. Uh, the first day we worked with him, Edwin, myself, and a girl called Claire, who was playing bass. She was a bass player from Amazulu. She's a really great bass player. Dennis decided that he wanted to use his own studio, which was in the Elephant and Castle, instead of Rack, where we always used to
Oh yeah,
rehearse,
okay. Yeah.
to record. So anyway, we go to this rundown part of London. We go into this building. It's in the basement, and it's really depressing. It's dark. It's well equipped, everything, and we're going. Oh God, we're going to spend a few weeks in here. But he insists that's where he wants to record the album. So he says, "Okay, I've got to go out for a while. So you set up, and I'll see you in a couple of hours." So he leaves. 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. We're in there. We're fed up with race. We want to go and have some refreshment. We try to leave, and the place is locked. We can't get out of the basement.
He locked you in. Oh my god.
He turned he turns up 10 hours later with an entourage of all these rastas, really stoned out of their heads, and he's laughing. He's going, "Are you ready for recording now?"
Oh
So
my god.
that's Dennis Bovell's personality description there. So yeah, but
So so you actually managed to sort of like do everything. I suppose because you couldn't go anywhere, you might as well sort of like practice and do lots of things.
Yeah, okay, it's ridiculous. Yeah, yeah. But that was the first day we worked with
Oh
Dennis.
my god.
But but an amazing character, an amazing character.
Well, Graham Marsden. Graham is also from Stockport. He said hi, Zeke.
Oh,
So
hi, Graham.
yeah. And Mike Edmondson, he said that he didn't realize that Orange Juice used a 303 synth on Rip It Up. And it was way ahead of its time, he
Oh,
said.
yes, yeah,
Was,
yeah.
and then he said, was it the first time you drummed alongside a synth in the band?
Um, no, I had, yeah, but ooh, yeah, on record, yes, it was. It's first time I actually drummed to a synth, but then I used to use I used to play to well, you used to play to a click, obviously, but I never used to like playing to just a normal click because it doesn't groove. And then you tighten up a bit. It just means you don't flow as much. So what I used to do is I used to record like a percussion part to the click. So if I click, instead of having a click just going go, 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 go,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah,
trying to you're trying to be a machine, what you do, you record maybe a conga or bongo play going kudugup, 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 and then it just it helps you to just swing, just to remember that you're human. And then because
yeah,
and it
yeah,
makes a lot of difference, it makes a lot of difference. So yeah, so it wasn't quite it wasn't such a problem playing to that, but yes, playing to
yeah.
that specific thing was the first time. Yeah, it was quite
First time.
mm.
A drummer friend of mine actually taught me what a click track is because I keep hearing so like this click track, you're playing into a click track or something. So
Oh
he
yeah.
he, he told me it's like a metronome kind of thing that you just
Yeah, that's the
go.
simple. It's a metronome. It's just something. It's just something that keeps the time, so
Yeah,
that
yeah,
yeah, and it just means that when you record, if you record the drums to, if you record the drums to the click, if you want to put something else on later on, you know, you can just tie it to the click and you play on time, yeah, and play to this. So.
yeah.
Mm.
Mike also asked, wanted to know what do you remember about Orange Juice being on top of the pops?
Oh my God, yeah. Everything Oranges did was there's a story. The first time we were on top of the pops, that was great. It was really good fun. And the second, but when you did top of the pops those days, it was very odd because you went in on a Tuesday to record. You went into BBC studios to record the song because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
pretended that what you played. So, but what they did, they would switch the tape. Uh, the, the tape that you were supposed. Let me start again. What you're supposed to do, technically, legally, according to BBC rules, you were supposed to play the tape that you recorded on the Tuesday. Yeah, but
Okay, yeah,
bands don't want that to be played because that's not as good as the recorded version, yeah, the single itself. So the
yeah.
tape would be switched. And when you actually did Top of the Pops, what you're hearing is actually the record itself. Do you see what I'm saying?
All right, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
there was a lot of, chicanery going
yeah.
on. But
But
then you'd go to the studio or on the day, and you do camera rehearsals. And what you have to do is that you have to follow all the rules that you rehearse because the camera must know where you are at every time, at any given time. But what we did, we decided to change the routine. And so the camera was we're going all over the place trying to find us. Well, not me because I'm static. The rest of the band were running around doing what was not rehearsals. They were not very happy. Yeah, and so we actually got bad for a couple of nights from Top of the Pops. But Top of the Pops was exciting. It was exciting. Every band wants at that
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah,
That was the holy grail. Really, you want to go on Top of the Pops, and yeah, it was great fun.
yeah. But did you do like actual singing? Because I've heard that
No,
they
no,
did
no.
a lot of
Well, yeah,
miming. A
this
lot
is
of
another
miming.
thing. This is another thing. You were miming. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it's just so bizarre miming because you just everything you are pretending that you're doing the real thing, and also you had these really weird rules that you couldn't move any of the equipment. I tried to move my hi-hat so it looked a bit, it was closer to me, and suddenly there's seven people around me going, no, you can't do that, union rules, because the union. Everybody, you
Oh
had all
god.
this kind of, yeah, Top of the Pops was a very strange affair. They changed years after that, after us, they started doing
Yeah.
live performances and stuff. But in the 80s, it was a very strange affair. Yeah, it looked
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
I missed out the pops though, because it used to be really good. It used to be
yeah.
so like,
No,
you
yeah, it was
actually
something.
every week you
Yeah, it was
look
just something
forward
every
to
week
it.
where people knew what was going on and looked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it was okay. Yeah,
But so you also did your own, so like you released albums as a solo artist as
yes,
well.
yeah.
So this is also part of Mike Edmondson's question. So what
Okay.
projects are you working on now, Zeke? That's his question, Mike. So
Oh yeah, I'm working on multiple projects at the moment. I'm continuing to work with two brothers called Simon Lee and Robin Lee, the Phase Action.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're brilliant. Simon is really good DJ and kind of ideas man. Robin is a multi-talented production producer, musician. He plays the cello, he plays keyboards, he speaks fluent Korean, fluent Japanese. He
Oh
actually,
wow.
yeah, he's a polymath. And he writes. So basically, what we do, they write some music, some basic music. It's club music basically. It's kind of dance music, and then they send me the tapes, and we talk about a theme, and I write something thematically, either in Shona, my tongue, mother tongue, or in English, or mixture of both, or another language, whatever language comes to. So
Yeah,
we've been doing that. I've been working with them now, since the year 2000, I think. But we also used to have we had a seven-piece band, so we did a lot of touring in Australia, America. We did American tour with supporting Groove Armada. We played a lot of interesting places around the
yeah,
world.
yeah,
And so I continue working with them. I'm still doing some stuff. I'm also co-writing stuff with a guy called Folamo, a French DJ. I don't know if you know him. You should check him out. He's absolutely brilliant. Did a single with him. I'm just working on one right now,
yeah.
and there's another single. I've been working with an Italian group called Aura Safari. You should check them out. They're really really good. They do a kind of jazz kind of dance. Yeah, they're from Italy.
Yeah.
I do stuff with that, and I've been working on my own another solo stuff, but that's kind of I'm just doing that gently, taking my time.
Yeah, when it will happen. So like
Yeah,
yeah,
it will happen in its own
when
time.
it happens. Well,
Yeah,
I've actually googled phase action, and apparently your collaboration with phase action that
yeah.
made disco fashionable again, according to
Yeah, I
Wikipedia.
hope so. The new disco, yeah, yeah. So kind of electronic dance. No, it's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, but your solo album Bible, is it Bible Belt?
Well,
Is it called
my
Bible Belt?
two solo albums. I had one on Polydor Records called Call and Response, and then after that, I had one on EMI called Mastercrime. Bible
Masterclass.
Belt is a single from Mastercrime.
Oh right, because
Yeah,
according to again Wikipedia, it won the Golden Circle Award.
or the Bible, yeah, Bible Belt, yeah, Bible Belt.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and the album Mastercrime.
yeah.
I'm sure somebody else. I've seen someone commented that it's actually incredible. The album. It's produced by Matt Johnson.
Well, Bible Belt is produced by Malcolm, not Mastercrime, the album.
Not Master Crime.
Yeah, Bible, but the single is produced by Matt Johnson. Yeah,
Oh right.
yeah, yeah. Well, it was Bible Belt itself was a poem. It was just a long poem I'd written about anti-apartheid, which I just
Yeah.
had lying around. I'd written it years before, and I sort of read it out to Matt. And one day we were at his house, just hanging out, and we decided to work on it. And I said, "Well, would you like to produce it?" And he produced it,
Yeah.
and we went to. That's when I got signed to Some Bizarre, who were the home record company for Soft Cell, Dada, and
Yeah. That's yeah.
people like that. And we ended up going to Zimbabwe and Mozambique to do the film for Bible Belt and stuff like that, and another single called "Love You Phil" on Mastercrime. That's the
Wow.
one.
But
That's the video that
yeah.
won the Golden Circle Award. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, we're definitely so like looking forward to the new album that you're going to do whenever, because I know that you're
All
just
right.
taking your time.
Yeah.
You said. Um, I've got another question from
Yeah.
Anthony Villarama.
Okay.
Uh, he said, "What's your favorite? Oh, who are your favorite Afrobeat musicians?"
Oh my God. My favorite is the original Fela Kuti.
Oh,
Yeah. I can't go past him. He was the main man. Uh,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
still the main man to me. Yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Well,
and
Fela
I mean,
Kuti.
yeah, I'm enjoying all the new stuff and stuff like that. It's good, but
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a Fela Kuti man, the godfather of
Do you know,
Afrobeat. Yeah.
working at a record shop, it actually so like made me aware of Fela Kuti because we used to, I think we all still got some Fela Kuti records and they're quite expensive as well, I believe. I mean,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sure
yeah, yeah.
Neil would
They're,
tell me all that.
well, they are classic. They're classics, and it's a
Yeah.
different. Everything about Fela Kuti is different how you listen to it because the songs are like 20 minutes long. And yeah, but the shows were like that as well. He played at, I went to see him at Brixton Academy years ago in the 80s, and he didn't start playing. The band came on very quietly, and he didn't come on stage till after midnight when everybody had gone to get their tube, most of the people. And then because he played all night. And
Oh my god.
they were trying to get him off the stage, saying we've got curfews, and he wouldn't come off. It was one of the best shows I've ever been to. Yeah,
Well, how many people were still there?
there's a
How
lot
many
of
people?
people. Yeah, yeah, because he was such a big deal. A lot of people just decided it didn't matter if they had to walk home. They were going to wait till
But I think nowadays you can't do that because
nah,
venues have
you
curfews
couldn't.
nowadays.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think,
yeah. You couldn't
yeah,
do
I
it.
think you'll
Yeah,
be fined if you
yeah,
saw.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. The copy. Yeah, the
Well,
SAS jumping in from the roof and stuff like stopping your show.
yeah. Well, Heather Kinsey said hello.
Hello, Heather.
Heather said, "I'd love to see you." Oh, sorry, sorry. So like,
Okay, it's
it's
all right.
it's actually another drummer that she wanted me to sort like
Oh, okay, no
but
worries.
yeah, but she sort of like joined us. So hello, Heather.
Okay,
Um, Another one that I actually noticed is I think it's a song called Mangwana.
Mangwana.
Is
Yeah, okay.
what language is Mangwana?
No, it's Shona, and that's just means tomorrow.
Oh right.
Yeah, that's one of our one of more successful because we do limited edition releases with Phase Action,
Yeah, yeah.
and that sold out first time, second time we had to go to print again, and then third time we had to go to print again. People keep finding it, and then we had to print some more of that song. Yeah, that's one of the most popular, especially in places like Brazil and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty certain that I've seen a Phase Action records at work it can be, because I mean we're also so like specialized in dance record and things
Oh,
like that.
dear.
So I'm
Okay.
sure, yeah, I'm sure, and northern
You should have
soul.
more in there.
But you're
I'll be
very
sending
much,
you more from now on.
yeah.
Get Simon to put you on his.
So you're still very much active in the music scene and gigging and everything. You
Yeah, no,
haven't stopped.
no, I haven't. I've not been gigging for a long time since the phase action. I think the last time I was on stage was actually with Matt, as you said, when I was guesting,
Oh, I see.
uh,
Okay.
and and but I was gigging a lot with phase action, and I haven't done that. We're talking about then. Then COVID struck, didn't it? And put all
Yeah.
our plans, all our gigging live plans were put to the back burner. So we decided what we'll do is do a lot of writing, a lot of music, a lot of recording, have as much material, and then start working on ideas for live thing because it takes a lot of energy and planning to do it properly, and so
Yeah.
yeah, it's not because what we do is not. I mean, it'd be easy if we were like a rock and roll band. It's like two guitars, bass, drums, and stuff like. You just go to rehearsals and you go and say, "Come on, bang!" You do it, but and, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, in some ways, I miss that kind of thing, but
Yeah.
but but um, but because the nature of what we're doing, it takes a lot of kind of
It's
technical.
programming and things like that.
Yeah,
Just
it's not just that.
um,
Yeah, you got to get the right musicians to do it as
yeah,
well,
yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah, and because some of the and you can't have because we have a lot of strings and a lot of background vocals. I double track myself a lot. I do, in the studio, but
yeah,
you need to have those voices in the on the in the back in the background or the percussion and all the strings and stuff like that. Otherwise, you end up with a 20-piece band on stage, and that's not viable,
yeah.
really.
Well, Mike Edmondson said that "In the Trees" by Face Action is magnificent.
Uh,
So in the trees, that's what
well,
it said.
yeah, that's a classic. Yeah, that's a class.
It-
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that was before me, but that's a really, really good track. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna ask you: is there a possibility of an orange juice reunion? I know
Ooh.
that you've not seen Malcolm Ross and David.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. The driving force of that would have to be Edwin if he's feeling well enough, or whether whether he's up for that. But I doubt it very much. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think
No,
it's. Yeah, it's there's no need really.
it's
There's no need.
it's just that when I went to Hunger Beat, the reception to that kind of event is incredible. And I'm sort of like thinking, oh my god, what if they, what if they get back together and then
Oh,
sort of like do
really? How
something
many
together?
people? Yeah, how many people were on stage? Who was it?
Well, there's Malcolm Ross was there, and then the God, what's Campbell Owens from Ask the Camera.
Okay,
The drummer was Stuart Kidd, and then Douglas McIntyre. So there's quite a lot of sort of like people from
okay.
Glasgow and Edinburgh were there.
Or the post camp,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, but James Kirk also played, and he
Oh,
did
did he?
sort of like the other sort of like orange juice songs,
Oh yeah,
not the
you
orange
can't
juice
argue like
songs.
yeah, because he co-wrote a few on there. You can't argue
Yeah,
with that.
yeah. I think they
He
did
was actually one of the
Felicity.
main songwriters with him and Edwin before.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
good on him.
Uh, Mike also got another question about, did you stay with Orange Juice until they split up? I know that Edwin used to say when they were on Postcard, they wanted to be a combination of Sex Pistols and Chic,
Yeah,
which, which
come
seems
up
to
with that. Yeah,
be a
yeah,
combination of Sex Pistols and Chic.
yeah. No, it's perfect description. That's exactly what, and I think he succeeded. Yeah, no, I did because when David and Malcolm left, they left and went to do something else themselves, and it was just Edwin and myself. We tried to, and we recorded an album and an EP, the two of us,
Yeah,
with the help of a couple of hired musicians. We there was a couple of musicians we were interested in getting into the band, but we couldn't get hold of them. So it was just me and Edwin, and I was really busy doing a lot of my solo stuff because I was signed separately to Polydor Records, and it just
Yeah.
became really difficult for us to carry the two things together. And one day, Edwin and myself went, got drunk, and we sort of jokingly said, "Shall we just split the band?" And that's exactly how it happened. And we started laughing, and we went, "Yeah, let's split the band." That's exactly how it happened. And,
But what about waking up in the morning and said,
yeah, it
"Did
was a
you
drunken
did you
decision.
start breathing?"
Yeah, yeah. And we decided, yeah, okay, let's do that. Let's try a few other things and stuff. But
Oh, great.
Edwin, um, we were really good friends, and Edwin played on my album, on my solo album and stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, then we just sort of, because of circumstances, really, because I started going abroad and doing stuff there, and we just went our different ways. And he started recording his solo stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah, so
Um, Neil Barker said that he likes the single "Flesh of My Flesh," which
yeah,
is a
okay,
follow-up to "Rip It Up."
yeah,
But such a shame that it only got to number 41. He said.
yeah, like again, like yeah, that was the record company. The record company by then were not very happy with the orange juice because we wouldn't cooperate with them, and also
Oh,
yeah, they really wanted us to be a kind of sweet and poppy, and we were trying to do something, as Edwin said, a mixture of Sex
yeah,
Pistols.
the Sex Pistols. um,
And we were trying to do some, some sort of left field edgy stuff. And but the record company were quite happy because they had Haircut 100, and Haircut 100 were quite happy to do that. And
oh, I see, right.
yeah, so they just wouldn't go. They didn't put any effort behind Flesh of My Flesh at all. And yeah, so it got to 41. It just
Oh,
needed a slight more, a bigger push, and it would have gone into the top 40. But
yeah, yeah. Oh, it's a shame.
yeah, well,
Um, Gas, do you still have family in Zimbabwe? Do you go often, or because
yeah,
like for us, we go back to the Philippines a lot and visit our family and stuff. Do you do the
yeah,
same?
yeah. Well, both my parents, unfortunately, my mom and dad passed away. My dad passed away
Yeah. Oh,
just a
yeah,
year
sorry,
ago.
sorry about that. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's all right. He was 99. He had a real good run. And my
Wow.
mom 7 years ago. But we're quite a large family, not the immediate family, but the extended family.
Extend, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I've got cousins, uncles, aunties, and what have you. My brother, who comes after me, Sam, and his family, he lives there. My sister lives in Chicago, and my youngest
Oh,
brother lives in Charlotte in the US. So
oh, yeah, yeah.
I've got nieces and yeah, nieces and nephews in the UK somewhere.
So you're like all over the place.
Yeah, so the family is all over the place, really. And
Yeah.
my wife is Australian, and
So
so
you've got family there in Australia as well.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, so we're all over the place. Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I've only got, I know it's already after 3 o'clock. I've only got, well, the basic sort of like questions I always ask.
Okay, no.
Firstly, is do you have any drumming heroes?
Oh, drumming heroes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's a difficult one because again, drumming is a strange thing because you can't really compare drummers because they're the funny thing is one of my favorite drummers, and people don't know much about this, is Stevie Wonder. People don't
Oh,
realize Stevie Wonder is a really good drummer. Yeah, if you listen to songs like Superstition, that's Stevie playing drums, and that's very
really?
yeah. If you listen to Steve, just play Superstition really loud and just hear how exciting that drumming is. It's kind of all over the place in some ways technically, but that's what's good about it. It's kind of raw, but it's really funky as well. And yeah, there's all the obvious people like Ringo Starr, of course, is a really good
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
underrated drummer, and Ginger Baker was a great drummer, and yeah, there's Steve Gadd. There's a lot of this. There's a guy who used to play drums for Scottish band called Average White Band, who died, called Robbie McIntyre. He
Yeah.
played. If you listen to a song called "Pick Up the Pieces," check that out. Average White Band.
Average. Yeah. Yeah.
It's an
Yeah.
instrumental. That's really sexy drumming. Yeah, it's really funky. Yeah,
Because you always sort of like think of drumming, you always like like
yeah.
pounding it really
Well,
hard,
no, no, no. Drumming is everything.
Yeah,
Drumming is more than one thing.
that's actually the first time I've heard of sort of like sexy drumming. It was like,
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, it's everything. It's like, yeah. Because you think about it, not only do you use your head, you use every limb in your body to do it. You also, you have to learn, you have to think to learn how to unthink. Because if you keep and going, you have to go into kind of Zen kind of uh, vibe, because otherwise
yeah.
you're all over the place. Now drumming, there's a lot to drumming.
Would you say that because you told me earlier that or you told us earlier that you always felt that you wanted to play the drums,
Yeah,
but you didn't actually get to do it until you got your freedom in Glasgow and you bought
that's
the drum
right.
kit.
Yeah.
Would you say then that it's natural? It's got to be sort of like in you. It's got to be able to play the drums. So
Well, well,
can you
no, I mean,
teach yourself?
yeah, I think it's something inside you must will tell you. Yeah. It's not the kind of instrument which, I mean, I don't think it's like the guitar, which people say, "Oh, he looks great, so I want to play a guitar." People can say, "I'm going to learn how to play guitar because people look cool in a guitar."
Yeah,
And
yeah,
people who have no aptitude for it at all, natural aptitude, and go and learn how to play it because they can learn the mathematical how to do it. And I think you really drummers feel something before they take them up, because they're not an
yeah.
easy instrument to rehearse anyway. They're all chords, you know, where do you rehearse them, putting them all together? So something in you, sort of drives you to want to play drums. I think
Yeah,
so.
and it's like not just your arms, your hands, your legs, your feet as well,
No,
and
it's
you've got
everything.
so much.
It's everything. I'll get. I don't know if I should tell you. I'll tell you very quickly an illustrative story about this. What I learned about drumming when I was starting off with my band Gyro in Glasgow. We played at this restaurant, trendy restaurant, and it was my birthday. And a friend of mine decided he would give me. He gave me a drink, but what I didn't realize, he had spiked the drink with magic mushrooms.
Oh no!
Right.
Oh god!
So just as I sat behind my drum stool, it hit me. Yeah. And I thought, oh my God, what's going on? And I had a woolen hat on, so I just pulled the woolen hat over my so nobody could look at me.
Yeah.
And all I remember about the show is just these sticks making colors and all these colors going all over the place, and all the colors moving around. So anyway, to cut a very long story short, towards the end of the gig, I
Yeah.
started coming back. I started coming back and realized, and I started panicking. I thought, "Oh my God, I've got to apologize to the band. That was the most awful thing. Why did I do?" But as I stood up, as we were finishing, everyone was patting me on the back, saying that's the best drumming they ever had. That's a very big lesson for drumming, because who was playing? Because I totally wasn't aware of what I was doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get
Yeah. Yeah.
you get into a kind of. I'm not suggesting people should do this. Don't do it. It could be a disaster. It could be a nightmare. But it taught me something. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's what you got to do in some ways to really play drums.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to, of course, you have to learn consciously what to do and what not to do. But you have to learn not to think as well when you're doing it. You have to learn to be part of the process and your environment without thinking. So that it's like almost like natural, like walking. It's just as natural as breathing. And when you
Yeah.
do that, then you are at your best. And whenever you
Yeah.
play drums, and when you feel, wow, play drums at the best. That's what happens. Is when you're almost kind of in a dream kind of land.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it's almost like in a trance, isn't it? You're sort of like
yeah,
in a trance
you
kind of
know,
thing. So
yeah,
is that your welcome to Glasgow experience then?
yeah,
Someone spiking you.
yeah, yeah. I know that was. Yeah, I wouldn't repeat that.
do you do you twirl when you play the drums? Like when you're playing, do you do this
Or the
with
twirling.
the
Oh
stick?
no, I can
Yeah.
only do it a couple of times, and then I drop the sticks.
Oh, right. So
No, I'm not.
it's not part of your.
No, I'm not a showboat. It looks good when you can do it well. People who
Yeah.
do it really, yeah. No, I've never bothered to practice that.
Oh, you don't do
I can do a couple.
because I've seen some drummers and it's just really amazing that every time they hit
Oh
the
yeah, they
drum,
do. Yeah, they do. Oh yeah,
they
yeah,
go.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. No, it looks good. Some drummers, it looks great as well when they, yeah, they
Yeah,
shoot
yeah.
their own.
But you don't do that.
Nah.
Well, another question that I've got is sort of like related to drumming is apart from your drink being spiked and
Yeah.
it turned out to be not it turned out to be like really good anyways because but have you ever had so like any accidents or drumming what I call like drumming disasters when you were
Oh,
playing?
yeah, in the beginning days in playing in pubs, uh, just incredible. The floors. One of the worst things that happens when you first, a lot of drummers will know this, is if you don't have a mat for the spikes of the bass drums to go into if the floor is slippery, and if you're in the middle of playing the song and the bass drum is running away from you, and you're trying, yeah, and all that stuff. That
I have
happens a
seen
lot.
that. Yeah, I have seen that happen once
Oh
at
no,
a time at the gig.
yeah, that's another, because the most important thing about drumming is all drummers will tell you, you have to be absolutely comfortable. You have to be, you mustn't be thinking one part of your body is, oh, that one is like this, all this, this every so that's why drummers spend a lot of time adjusting the height of the stool, the distance between the hi hat
Yeah.
and the bass drum, and everything has to be absolutely right and solid. And so if things start moving away,
Oh,
because
another thing
again,
that yeah, sorry. Pardon
it's like, again, that comes back to the same point I was telling you, because when things like that go wrong, you start thinking, you start being aware of where you are and what you're doing. And that's what you don't want to be doing when you're playing drums. You don't want to be thinking about anything except just being there and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
being in the environment, in the moment, and in the time, because otherwise everything becomes a bit of a
Yeah,
disaster.
yeah. Well, another thing that I actually discovered, or my drummer friend taught me a few
Mm.
weeks ago, I didn't realize that you actually tune the drum
Oh,
kit as
oh yeah.
well.
Oh yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to tune them.
because
Yeah, there's such a
sometimes when you're sort of like look, because I go to a lot of gigs, and most of the times you see that when they're on stage, the guitarist sometimes spend a lot of time tuning their guitars and
too
things
long guitarist.
during the set, and then and then the drummers just sort of like sit there and not really because
Nah,
and then
nah. You
my
have to
friend
tune them.
actually said to me that's because that's already been tuned.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
You have
didn't
to tune it.
realize.
There's a tone. Yeah, 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 yeah. And some drums, like that kit I was telling you about, which I used, the Gretsch kit.
Yeah.
It was very tonal, because it's very small, and you literally you could tune it to a piano. I mean, you could tune it to a piano. But yeah, you do, yeah.
Amazing. I mean, it's good that I do this so like as the drummers because I actually so like learn a lot about the
Oh,
technical
good.
bit of drumming. It's not just so like finding out more about the drummers themselves, but
Yeah,
the technical side of it as well.
yeah.
Um, Mike said that he's going to play Koyo
Okay. Oh,
Hokoyo
nice.
after after this. So
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Thank you.
well, I've got one final question for you now.
Yeah,
What would be
yes,
your advice for aspiring drummers out there? I mean, apart from don't spike. don't,
Don't get
don't take
straight.
magic mushrooms. It might turn out wrong.
No, I mean, oh, yeah, I mean, all I would say is that just remember everybody's different. You are an individual. You're built in a different shape. We're all different shapes. Yeah, different sizes. Be comfortable. Do whatever you're doing. If you're playing drums, if you decide to play drums, don't look at someone else to see what they are doing. About you yourself, find something yourself that makes you comfortable and hit fucking thing.
Brilliant. That's amazing. I mean, my my script actually says that I've got to greet you happy birthday, but that was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. No, no,
So it's a
okay.
belated happy birthday. So
No, no, it's still appreciated, Dan. Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
um, well, thank you. So, Richard Bourne just appeared. He's a bit late to the party, but grew up listening to Orange Juice
Okay.
and the. So big up Zeke and your drumming. So
Oh, thank
that's
you, Richard.
Richard,
Thank you.
Richard Bourne.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
Well,
you, everybody.
thank you. Thank you so much, Zeke. I really
Thank you.
enjoyed it. I really
Yeah,
had a great time today.
yeah.
And
Thank you, Anne, and thank you, everybody who called
yeah.
in. Thank you
Well,
so much. I appreciate
when
it.
when when can we see you on stage? When can we sort of like
You got my contact details. I've got yours. So keep in
yeah,
touch, and I'll keep in touch with you as well, Anne. Yeah,
yeah.
I'll let you know what's going on. Yeah,
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. And well that's all my questions for today. I'm really glad that you're able to sort of like do Ask the
No,
Drummer.
thank you, darling. Thank you so much, Anne.
You're amazing. You're
Thank you,
such a
darling.
legend.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Zeke.
Yeah, thank you, Anne.
Enjoy
Good luck to
enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, you
And
too, sweetheart. Thank
hopefully,
you.
yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully
thank
see
you,
you in
everyone.
real life.
Thank you,
Bye.
darling. Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. That was just incredible. He's such a legend. I really, really enjoyed that chat today. And well, we're gonna have another one, another legend, a Mank legend next week. So hoping that you'll join us again. Oh God, I was really nervous before, but he's just incredible. Oh, I really love Zeke Manyika. I love his name as well. I love saying Zeke Manyika. It's so nice. But yeah, thank you all so much. And as always, love music, love life, love drummers. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and see you all next week. Bye for now. Bye. Bye.